No. Sorry, ladies. We're in here. Went to those all-white girl private schools, so you're brainwashed, Becky. You mean Becky with the good ring?
Signature cocktail?
You can choose from the Tiffany, which is a sparkling rosé with muddled raspberries and a hint of vermouth, or the Derek, which is our take on the amaretto sour.
I don't like neither one of their cocktails, so I mix them together. I call it a Durfany. It's like them fucking in a glass.
Okay. So Derek doesn't know this, but I got him a box of high-end Cuban cigars. They're rolled by this entire family, even the children. I know it sounds sketchy, but what can I say? I love my man. We're signing up. Or I could just teach the class myself. I am stellar. I just don't understand black women and their hang-ups about oral sex.
Oh, shut your light-skinned ass up.
Sorry.
Closer.
Sorry. I mean, y'all can plan the baby shower with my suggestions. Look at my baby bringing folks together from the womb.
I mean, technically we met at the
My
summer.
baby shower.
Okay.
Hold up. Are these flowers from that one guy you went on the one date with that I thought was a total wash that meant nothing at all?
Yes, him. Issa, I don't know if I told you, but I actually met him at Tiff's baby shower. His name is Lawrence.
Okay, this is great. Now the truth is all out in the open. It's fine.
Yeah, Tiffany's watching at Issa's tonight.
It's Tiff. She can't make it. I'll call her.
Boo.
Yeah, Tiff had this dude at the job. Fred and I had to talk. Fred's gone now. Why? Because I dealt with him.
We stopped trying, but then we were so high at Issa's party. I saw a little weed Becky in there.
You cannot come to my birthday.
I don't want to be there.
It's girls only.
Well, I paid for it, so you're using my money to do it.
Okay.
Which I wanted you to do. That's what I gave you.
Come on.
This is a birthday present from us.
Okay.
No, I didn't go to college.
That's what's up.
Oh,
Cool.
that's cool.
Hey, Tiffany, I just have to say this was a lovely shower. So great. You are gonna make a phenomenal mom.
Really? Thank you, girl. Molly, why you ain't tell me Candace and Joe are having a baby?
What?
Oh, you ain't know? Oops. Not my news to share.
I'm sorry. I just didn't know what else to do.
There are place cards. I didn't design my own font so you could sit just where you wanted.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. It's fine. It's fine. You know, whatever. It's fine. Yeah. Why do you think black men are out here chasing after white women?
Did you know David Oyelowo is with a white woman? And he was in Selma.
Ooh.
As you can see, my transition into one of the Golden Girls is almost complete. I am loving my little shawl. It's cold in my house right now, so y'all gonna have to deal with it. Even though it's literally summer right now and I'm in Texas, my house is a little bit too cold. So here we go. But anyway, today we're gonna be talking about one of my least favorite characters of Insecure. And I hate to admit that because Tiffany is a lot of things and so many of those things I love. But there are some things that Tiffany does during the show, especially season 1, that I just cannot get with. It tainted how I saw that character forever and I never really got over it. And we're gonna get into it. Now, I know a lot of people love Tiffany because she's funny and she's stylish. And for those reasons, we see each other. I love Tiffany because of that. She's very stylish. And as a matter of fact, there are so many more things that I have in common with her than any other character on the show that it feels wrong to dislike her as a character. But just as a whole, after I saw certain things, I could just never get on board with her. She's a very necessary character and she does represent a lot of people, and a lot of friend groups have a person like Tiffany in them, for better or for worse. And even though there are things that I dislike about her that actually made me dislike the character as a whole, I actually think she's very necessary for the show and I do enjoy her in a lot of the scenes. I also like Amanda Seales on Insecure. I thought her character and her presence fit that group of 4 very well. Now, I do know there was behind the scenes drama. I'm just gonna be real. If Amanda Seales is involved, there will probably be some kind of drama. She is a very polarizing person, but she and Tiffany are nothing alike, yet they're both polarizing for different reasons. There's so much to get into, and I do have a lot of opinions, so let's get started. So Tiffany DuBois is the only married friend of the friend group on Insecure. We have Tiffany, Kelly, Issa, and Molly. Now, Tiffany was the first to get married to her college sweetheart. Tiffany has been characterized as being snooty, thinking she's better than other people, being bougie. There is this condescending quality to her personality that I genuinely cannot stand.
Ooh.
But aside from those things, I actually love how self-assured Tiffany is. I love her confidence. I love that she has standards that she is willing to maintain, and she doesn't let anyone else kind of dictate her moves or her style, her decisions, and her personality.
It sure is. She was too crazy for me. We should go say hi. Okay. Y'all got that. I'm gonna go mingle. All right.
She doesn't seek to conform. And at first, Tiffany was my favorite female character. That was until I saw the whole personality of Kelly, and then she became my favorite female character. But prior to that, it was actually Tiffany. I loved Tiffany at first. And then they went to Malibu. And then I didn't like Tiffany so much after that. I will let you know why. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us here on Chats and Chill. So I'm going to start with the things that I like about Tiffany, because the things that I dislike, or some of the reasons that I came to dislike her eventually, are actually pretty abundant. So we're going to start with the very few things I like about her. Like I said, she's very self-assured. She's an educated woman who has standards. She and Derek work really hard to make their marriage happy and make it work. And even when they're thrown a few curveballs like Simone, they adjust. Even when they're thrown curveballs like moving to Denver, they adjust. And to be fair, even though she's not my favorite, I have more in common with her than any of the other ladies, which is why sometimes I feel like the things that I dislike about Tiffany are just me projecting, and I need to address some of those internalized frustrations in the mirror rather than on this character, and I'm working on it. Say, where can I see that within myself? Do a little self-reflection, and I can almost always find it buried somewhere, usually beneath some Reese's and M&Ms. Let me not read myself today. Anyway, ooh, Reese's and M&Ms sound good. Tiffany is very self-assured. I love that about her. As someone who has been called bougie and have been called Sade and been called all kinds of, she thinks she's better than everybody. She's intimidating. She's this, that, and the third. I have had people project onto me my whole life, and I see a lot of that with people when they talk about Tiffany. She can be a lot, but a lot of that is internalized, and she doesn't really project it out that often. So when people respond to her viscerally, I wonder why. Sometimes the way a person treats themselves or the standards someone has for themselves can make us look inward and make us feel inadequate because we don't also uphold those same high standards. In areas where we might be willing to compromise, that person is not, and it makes us feel called out despite them not doing anything to make us feel that way. I often say, just because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean I did anything to make you uncomfortable. My existence making you uncomfortable without provocation is a you problem, not a me problem. And more often than not, that is the criticism I see of Tiffany. And that is not her fault. So starting there, Tiffany standards for herself, Tiffany feeling like she likes things a certain way and she has traditional values, and I'm not meaning the extremist version, but she likes things a certain way. She has a certain view of her life. She also has a certain view of herself, and she upholds that and shows up as that every step of the way. No matter what her friends or peers are doing, she's going to be Tiffany, rain or shine, for better or for worse.
She doesn't have nice things. I don't.
Now that I admire in her. I also love her back and forth dynamic with not only Kelly, but Derek as well. That threesome, that little tandem of three, is actually a group that I wish we got more content from. There's this moment at Issa's fundraiser in season 1 where Kelly and Derek are bantering like siblings. Derek finally said, "I paid for your birthday in Malibu. Happy birthday from us." Me.
You cannot come to my birthday.
I don't want to be there.
It's girls only.
Well, I paid for it, so you're using my money to do it.
Okay.
Which I wanted you to do. That's what I gave you.
on.
This is a birthday present from us.
Okay.
That part cracks me up, but it gives us insight into the relationship. And then every time we see the three of them together, Derek and Kelly are going back and forth because both of them own one half of Tiffany's heart, and they both know the other's place is immovable. So they just adjust. I love their dynamic. Now that I've given you the reasons that I liked Tiffany, I want to talk about some of the things that Tiffany did that permanently scarred the way I saw her from the very beginning. And that starts with their trip to Malibu in season 1.
Okay, as long as it's marriage friendly, I'm down to.
Okay, it's my birthday, Tiffany. Fuck your marriage.
Again, I want to reiterate, she's not all bad, but in season 1, I realized what kind of person Tiffany was when she pulled this little move with Issa. Again, no character on the show is perfect, and they all have insecurities, which is why they're on a show called Insecure. So we're not always going to see the best sides of these characters, but Tiffany did something that I don't think is an insecurity necessarily. It's more of a character flaw. And when I notice that your character can't be accounted for and you have a low standard for your character, I can't fool with you. I need you to have a little bit of integrity when you're dealing with me. And this is a moment where I knew Tiffany didn't have much integrity. So in season 1, Issa and Lawrence break up. He breaks up with her. He moves in with their friend Chad. Chad and Derek are also friends. Lawrence, Chad, and Derek are a friend group. Derek is married to Tiffany. So Tiffany knew, probably before anyone else, that Lawrence had broken up with Issa for cheating. Now, what Derek didn't know was who she cheated with. Now, who did know who she cheated with was Molly. So several members of the friend group have pieces of information, but only Issa knows everything. Now, here's the interesting part. Prior to going to Malibu to celebrate Kelly's birthday, Issa and Molly had a falling out at the fundraiser. We saw that, we talked about it, etc. So when they get there, Molly is acting very stank with Issa. Now we know that Kelly and Tiffany are a twosome, Issa and Molly are a twosome, and then the four of them hang out together, but they are very much clear about who their partner in this friend group actually is. So when Issa and Molly are weird with each other, it makes the whole event uncomfortable. That's actually something I genuinely despise. If you and your friend are having issues, but y'all know y'all gonna get past it, just play nice for me on my birthday or my wedding or my baby shower or whatever it is and fight later. Don't fill the room with negativity. Don't act like that. Now, if I'm hungry, that's a different story. If you're hungry, fill the room with negativity until you've been fed, queen. But outside of that, have some class. Anywho, the reason this culminated in me disliking Tiffany forever and ever, and I'm never going back on it, is because when the ladies were at the club, Issa is on her phone and she's trying to get in touch with Lawrence or text Lawrence, and you can tell that she's not really herself. Tiffany privately makes her way over to Issa for a little one-on-one in their section, and she says, "You okay, girl?" Now, one might assume she means well. Also, because Derek knows that Lawrence dumped Issa, Tiffany knows that Lawrence dumped Issa, but Tiffany did not let Issa know she was aware. That was strike one for me. If I find out something about my close friend, close enough to be a bestie, maybe not my best friend, but a bestie, as in we're in a group of four together, I'm gonna let you know I know so that we don't have tension in this relationship. I don't care how you deal with that. I'm gonna say, hey, I was told what happened. If you need anything, let me know. And if you don't want me to bring it up again, I won't. Let me know how I can show up for you because I plan to. I will let my friend know right out the gate. I cannot stand when people put me in that kind of position. But if you tell me something about my friend, I'm going to go straight to my friend. Are you okay? I found out about this thing. Let me know how I can help. And leave it at that. There is no way I'm going to be sitting over here harboring information about you, but not only not addressing it, but waiting until the perfect time to strike with it in front of everyone. We'll get there. So how I knew she was shady was when she sat in that section with just her and just Issa. The perfect time to let it be known that she was aware, when it was in private and she wouldn't embarrass Issa. Instead, she says, "You okay, girl?" Issa goes, "Yeah," etc., etc. This heifer goes, "What's Lawrence getting up to this weekend?" What did I just say? She knew Lawrence had dumped Issa. She knew that. So when she asked Issa this question, it wasn't because she actually expected an answer. She was trying to provoke to see if Issa was going to divulge that Lawrence had dumped her. She was being so shady. Instead of just saying, "Hey, Derek told me that Lawrence is staying with Chad. If you need me, let me know." This heifer goes, "What he getting up to this weekend?" Then she goes, "Derek just won't stop texting me." Again, I want to make it clear. She knows Lawrence and Issa have broken up. Why are you bragging about your man being codependent? Even if he is, time and place. If you know your friend is going through something, regardless if she knows you know Issa's going through something. That's malicious intent. I cannot rock with a heifer like that. That was my first and second strikes with Tiffany. I said, what kind of friend does that? She knows Issa's going through something, and then she asks her about the something indirectly without telling her she knows, trying to see if she's gonna lie. That's not a friend. Then she goes on to say, "Well, I'm sure he misses you." Bitch, you know he don't miss me because I've been cheating. Why would you throw that in my face? I cannot stand a heifer like Tiffany.
You okay?
I'm great.
So what's Lawrence got planned for this weekend?
He's chilling.
Well, I know he misses you.
If Derek texts me one more time.
I tell him I'm okay, but he still worries. He's so extra.
Yeah, he is.
It felt like it was malicious all around, trying to trip Issa up to see if she would lie, and then throwing in Issa's face that Derek was all over her, knowing that Issa was heartbroken, and then to follow up with, "Well, I'm sure Lawrence misses you." That was just like a 1, 2, 3 punch for no reason. I've never seen Issa come for Tiffany. I've actually never seen any of the ladies come for Tiffany. I've seen them drop the ball, but I've never seen anything done to her with malicious intent. And it didn't even establish the nature of their relationship, because for all intents and purposes, the 4 ladies seemed to get along really well and show up for each other. She was the only one that introduced any kind of malicious intent to the situation. Again, they all made mistakes, but I've never seen anyone intentionally try to harm the other ladies. And that was one of the first times I saw anything like that from them. And it was from Tiffany. So it tainted the way I saw her forever. But when that heifer determined that I would never like her was in that jacuzzi later that night.
You're always telling somebody what to do or reading everybody, and meanwhile, y'all codependent ass can't even take a shit without asking your man first.
Well, at least I'm not up here pretending I have a man when I don't. Yeah, I know that you and Lawrence broke up
Wait, what? Why?
because she cheated on him.
Lawrence found out about you and Daniel? You fucked Daniel. I don't want to talk about this.
That's who it was? Derek did not tell me that.
So later that night, they're in the jacuzzi. Issa and Tiffany have been alone several times. Issa and Kelly have been alone. Issa and Molly have been alone. All the ladies have spent one-on-one time with one another. But now they're all in the jacuzzi together. During that little relaxation spa moment, Tiffany and Kelly, again, they're 2 best friends, and this is Kelly's birthday, paid for by Tiffany and Derek. So they're kind of at the lead of this little trip, and they just decide to start bullying Molly. Issa jumps to her defense, despite Molly being very shitty to Issa this whole time. Issa jumps to her defense, and she reads Kelly and reads Tiffany. She doesn't even go overboard. She simply says what's true. Kelly, you are drunk. You miss your mouth all the time when you're trying to drink, and you're obnoxious and immature. Tiffany, you're very bougie and sedity. You look down on everybody. You call yourself reading everybody, but you are codependent and you are defined by your relationship. None of that was inaccurate, and it actually wasn't cruel at all. She handled it with a lot of care, a lot more care than I would have, because I would have been calling them bitches and hoes. I'm just gonna be honest. I get real petty when I get real mad. And if you mess with my best friend, you gonna get me real mad. So Issa actually handled it very well, especially considering they've been drinking. Molly appreciated the gesture. That is when Tiffany decides to not only let Issa know she's aware Lawrence dumped her, but then she went on to let that chopper sing in front of everybody. Who does that to a friend? You could not pay me to put my friend in a spot where they are the center of attention for a negative reason. You could not pay me to make my friends feel small. You cannot pay me to link up with other people and go against my friend as a mob. If somebody's making fun of my friend, I'm about to have my friends back, even if we're not cool. Issa's actions made complete sense. That's the kind of friend I am. I'm going to show up for my friend. We can be mad later because we're going to get back to being mad. But right now, I got you. When you mess with one, you mess with all. That's how I was brought up to be as a friend. And what I should have been taught was discernment, but I learned over the years. What I didn't like was how she went about it. First, you had all that alone time with Issa at the club to tell her that you knew, to put it out there and offer support. You had that opportunity. You even asked her about it in a roundabout way to see if she would lie. You even rubbed it in her face that your man was doing well by you, knowing that Issa was heartbroken. And then you rubbed it in again by saying, well, I'm sure he misses you, knowing he don't miss her cheating ass right now. Then you get back to the house, get in the jacuzzi, and wait until everyone is assembled to then drop your knowledge. That's a character flaw. That's not friendly fire. That's not negging. That's not going back and forth. That's not even banter. And sometimes friends get in bad places where they go back and forth and they banter. But that ain't friendship. Trying to embarrass someone long before Issa read Tiffany down, Issa was actually being pretty kind to Tiffany, and Tiffany was still bothering her. I did not like that. So this isn't the first and only time we saw this little habit of Tiffany withholding information or dropping information at odd times. We've seen her do this 3 more times right off the top of my head. I'm sure she did it more, but off the top of my head, I remember her doing that 3 more times after the Malibu moment. The second time we see Tiffany do this is at her own gallery opening, where she invited the ladies and they showed up to support her in her career. And she decides to be an asshole. And so this all came about because they're all walking around and Kelly lets it slip that Lawrence has moved on to a new woman. Her name is Tasha. So this shocks Molly and Issa because Lawrence and Issa had just slept together the night before. So in Issa's mind, they're gonna work things out. So this is shocking to her. And so Molly then shows up for her girl. For you Molly haters, she shows up for Issa and is like, what girl is Lawrence seeing? And Kelly was like, oh, was I not supposed to say anything? First of all, if you know something about your friend, it don't have to be your best friend, but you know something about your friend, and the person you choose to share that with is someone other than them, even if she later doubled back to talk about it with Kelly, because that is her bestie, it's fair to assume she's going to discuss things with Kelly that she wouldn't discuss with the other ladies. But this information was pertaining to Issa, and if she thought it was harmless to discuss, then it shouldn't have been anything for her to talk to Issa about it. To let Issa find out this way was cruel. And Tiffany got a bad issue with that being cruel to Issa. Anyway, so clearly Kelly didn't think anything was wrong with talking about it. And that's why I like Kelly, because she was open and honest about it. She wasn't trying to hide it, and she damn sure wasn't trying to gossip about it. She was just talking because she thought it was open information, because wouldn't you? If anybody should have been told, it should have been Issa. And if you told me, my assumption is you already told Issa, which it seemed like that's what Kelly was doing. But no, this was Issa's first time finding out about it in front of everyone. Just broke her heart.
I just don't want to do anything. If there's a chance, we could work it out.
Does that mean he broke up with that girl?
What girl?
Tiffany told me.
Derek told me. I think her name is Tasha.
Found her.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that lace friend is doing the most. And why does she only speak in emojis?
She looks like she's working at the pyramid tonight.
Molly shows up for her friend and she says, "Who is the girl?" Strike two with Tiffany in this situation. "Well, I didn't know it was a problem. I just assumed." If you assumed that it was okay, then it wouldn't have been nothing to brief Issa on that. If you talk to anybody about my business, let it be me first. Don't talk to other people about me. Anyway, even if she talks to her bestie, the first person she should have contacted was, "Hey, Issa, I don't know what's going on, but I just know that Lawrence is going around with another girl. I think he's moved on. Do with that information what you will. Let me know how I can show up for you." Boom. And leave it at that. Instead, she was being a messy heifer, talking to everybody else about it. Well, not everybody else, but Kelly. Again, I'm not mad she talked to Kelly. I'm just mad that she didn't let Issa know. Now, I'll say this. If Tiffany's goal was to not tell Issa because she assumed it might affect her negatively and it's not going to change anything with Issa knowing or not knowing, fair, but you knew it was important enough to talk about. I just can't imagine knowing that much about the situation and choosing not to tell Issa just so she could arm herself with the truth in the event that Lawrence was doing exactly what Lawrence did, which is going back and forth. When people go back and forth for whatever reason, whatever emotional tie, whatever emotional connection, etc., when several doors are open to sexual relationships, but not everybody's fully informed, people can die. People get hurt. He could have welcomed her into a domestic situation. You don't know. Double dipping and all kind of infidelity issues can result in death in a multitude of ways. I've always said to my partners and my husband, if you ever want to leave me, fine, go get your ass on. I'll process. I might be hurt, but I will be okay. But please don't involve me in no domestic situation, because I have no time for somebody to be showing up at my door, popping me because they want you when they could just have you.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Amy Fisher.
Amy.
Bang!
And I certainly don't have any time to be up at the clinic doing all kind of nonsense because you were the problem. Armor and empower me with the truth so I can move the way I need to move. If you want out, then be out. You want to see other people, but please don't drag me in your bullshit because I could literally die. And while it's played as like a not such a big deal situation, in the same way that her cheating with Daniel could have resulted in something heinous, especially at that fundraiser where both men showed up, what if Daniel had attacked Lawrence? And Lawrence would have been blindsided. What if Daniel had given Issa something and then Issa then passed that on to Lawrence? Intentions do not change results. Whether she intended to or not doesn't change anything. Everybody could have ended up in the clinic or in the grave. Cheating is a very dangerous act. It's a very malicious act. And I always operate as if cheating and infidelity are intentional. You was trying to kill me or get me killed. That is how I react to infidelity, because there are so many different ways harm could befall you when someone is being shady, especially regarding your sex life. They should always armor and empower you with the truth. So aside from all that, Lawrence was dirty dog doing it with both Tasha and Issa, and Tiffany knew. She didn't know that Issa and Lawrence were still messing around, but she did know he was messing with Tasha, and Issa is her friend. She should have told Issa. I'm going to come back to why I think she does these things, but I want to finish my examples first. The next time I can remember Tiffany doing this very same thing is at her own baby shower. I'm starting to wonder if Tiffany throw events just to be as messy as possible and control the variables in the event so she can make sure she drops her bombs the way they need to be dropped. Because at her event, she reads the three ladies down, justifiably so, for not showing up for her pregnancy. And she did right. They deserved every bit of that tongue lashing and a whole lot more. She was very reserved, but I would have cussed them heifers out. They were very dismissive about her pregnancy. They didn't show up for her, and they did not show up for her as friends, yet were so entitled to wanting to be part of the festivities. That wasn't cool. And she was right in that situation, in my opinion. But later, because she's got this little chip on her shoulder about the ladies not showing up for her, I personally feel like the way she dropped this bomb on Molly was intentional. And she goes, "Molly, why you didn't tell me Dro and Candace was expecting a baby?" I mean, she did drop that bomb on me at my baby shower. But anyway, now one might assume because Candace told her at the baby shower that she assumed Molly already knew. That could be said, right? But you and Molly are close enough for you to know she and Dro had a sexual relationship. Wouldn't that make y'all close enough for you to handle this information with care? Wouldn't y'all be close enough to know that she cut Dro off? So you know for a fact she didn't know this information already? So dropping this bomb on her like this might impact her? Tiffany had a callous nature about her. Very petty, but petty in ways that could actually harm people for real, especially emotionally. So Molly is shocked. Issa immediately turns around and checks on Molly. Again, I love how they show up for each other in these moments. But I knew it was intentional by the way Tiffany responded to Molly's shock.
Oops, not my news to share. But oops, she did tell me at my baby shower. So who's stealing whose thunder?
Before that, I was like, maybe she genuinely thought Candace had made the rounds and told everybody. Assumes Molly and Issa already know. That was my thought initially until her response. When Molly was like, what? Tiffany goes, oh, my bad. I thought you knew. Anyway, you can tell by her reaction that that was intentional and she was being a messy asshole. She's so callous with the other lady's feelings. I don't care for that. And then the last example of her withholding information and striking at the right time or choosing not to strike at all was with her friend and colleague, Condola. Now, at this same baby shower, Condola, I keep saying Condola like gondola ride, and every time I try to change it, I go back to saying Condola. And my bad. I know that a lot of people call that woman everything but Condola. And I don't participate in that, even though I do laugh. I'm just not witty like y'all, but I do love when y'all do that. And I crack up every time. It's just a running joke for the show. Please don't mispronounce people's names in real life. If you can avoid it, try to say people's names the right way. Show them that proper respect. But she's a character, so we can bother her. Condola and Lawrence meet at the baby shower. They strike up a little something, and then they start dating. 2 months later, Issa and Condola are in the throes of planning the block party. Issa and Condola had met prior to the baby shower when Issa and Molly attended her movies in the cemetery event for Black people. So she went over and talked to Condola, explained what she was trying to do, and Condola offered to help, and they've been meeting up regularly. Tiffany knows this. They see each other at the baby shower. They know each other there. It's at this same baby shower that Issa and Lawrence have this beautiful moment, but Lawrence goes on to be a little whore, and he meets, no, he's not a whore. I took it personal, okay? He goes on to meet Condola, and they strike up a little something, and they start dating. Condola met Tiffany and just started infiltrating her friend group. Goodness, was she in love with Lawrence and liking Issa, or did she really just want to get closer to Tiffany? Anyway, so Lawrence and Condola are dating. So much so that Tiffany and Condola are giving regular updates about the progression of this relationship. He's also sending her flowers to work, which, aw. Did you send some to Issa because she was paying your bills for years and years when you were on her couch? Anyway, we're gonna move on. Anyway, you know what? Ring the Alarm has way more impact as an adult because I've seen this play out for other people so many times. I'll be damned if I see another chick on your arm. I'm the one who invested in you, and then she reaps the rewards. Anyway, so they're going out. Issa and Condola have been working on this block party, and it's not a secret. Everybody knows they're working together. Tiffany comes in and sees Issa and Condola talking and having fun, and she's like, see how my baby brought everybody together? Aw, I love seeing y'all hang out. And it's clear she's very well aware they've been hanging out. It's then that she sees the flowers, knows they're from Lawrence, and asks about them. If you know they're from Lawrence and you've been keeping this from Issa, why would you even reference the flowers until Issa left? She did that shit on purpose.
Oh, these are beautiful. Did these come from a client?
Yeah, from the new boo account.
Well, I guess actually, her baby brought us together too.
Hold up. Are these flowers from that one guy you went on the one date with that I thought was a total wash that meant nothing at all?
Yes, him. Issa, I don't know if I told you, but I actually met him at Tiff's baby shower.
Was it a tall loser named Dro, maybe?
No, his name is Lawrence.
Issa and Lawrence are exes. They dated. They were a couple. They were together. Now they're not. Okay, this is great. Now the truth is all out in the open. It's fine.
Issa says, was it a loser named Dro? No, she says, was it a tall loser named Dro? See, I love that. She's forever fighting her friend's battles because he is a tall loser. Anyway, she did not empower her with information. And then she stood there and goes, it's fine. I would not have been friends with Tiffany. She operates real weird. You don't have to put yourself in my business, but you should empower me with information you're privy to if you know it impacts me. If we're friends, that's the bare minimum. And yes, there are some people who get real messy and who will go back and forth and say, Tiffany said, and Tiffany did, and they'll put you in it. Those are not friends either. Those people do not deserve friendship either. If you implicate me in your bullshit when I was just trying to help, I won't be helping you moving forward because we won't be friends. This is reciprocal. So starting from square one, if we can assume that Issa would not put Tiffany in any drama, and for the most part, we did not see her put her friends in her drama. We saw her friends support her through her own drama, but we never really saw Issa bring any drama to these ladies' front door. She only leaned on them for support, but she did not get them in the middle of her bullshit. And as a matter of fact, when we saw men comment on her friends, she jumped to the women's defense. Issa is a girl's girl. She's not perfect, but she was a girl's girl. And so there was no excuse Tiffany could have had for not telling her, hey, keep working with Condola if it's going to bring your vision to life. But I just want you to be well aware. She and Lawrence met at my baby shower and they've been seeing each other. If she was going to be referencing it in front of Issa, she should have empowered her with the truth so that she wasn't sitting there when a bomb was dropped on her head. This is what I don't like about Tiffany. I would never let my friends get blindsided. And again, that's a character issue. That's not a bougie issue. I know plenty of loyal bougie people. That is not a bougie issue. That's an asshole issue. So now I have to rattle off my list of things that I feel Tiffany was really sketchy about. And it's not that long of a list, but I'm just gonna run through them. First of all, she exploited a Cuban family for cigars for Derek's birthday, even the kids. Then she celebrated another couple's home going into foreclosure so that she and Derek could possibly buy it. It's one thing to see the silver lining or even the light at the end of the tunnel or see an opportunity in something bad that happens, but it's another thing to celebrate the harm done or the bad luck of someone else. Come on, girl. Then she bragged to the other ladies that white women are stealing black men because white women give oral sex. And I just need her and that outdated ass perspective to go head somewhere. First of all, the reason we might not hear about black women doing sexually explorative things as often is because most black women are private. They're not about to tell you what's going on in their bedroom unless you're the person in their bedroom. Now, amongst their friend groups, they might share. But on a wide scale, why would we be advertising what we do and don't do in the bedroom if you don't plan on being in the bedroom and I damn sure don't plan on you being in the bedroom? That's not your business. So have you ever considered that maybe the women that you think don't do these things just simply don't do them with you? Maybe they require security and a certain amount of love and appreciation, and you have to pour into them in order for them to feel comfortable and safe exploring things sexually with you. Perhaps that isn't even on the table for you. Perhaps you're just an outsider, a bystander, a third party. Why the hell do you care what these women are doing, and why would they share anything with your ass? If you ask me if I did X, Y, and Z, and I do X, Y, and Z every day, I might be hopping from the ceiling on 1 foot. You don't know. I'm not going to tell you about it because are you my husband or my man? No. So mind your damn business. 2, who says that black men prefer white women over black women? That is an age-old myth. There are men in every race who have preferences, and there are a lot of men who have internalized issues with their race, and that comes out through their dating patterns. They have issues with their mommy. They have issues with their sisters. They have issues with feeling rejected, and they take that out on the women they date until they date the woman they deem the prize. That is not black women's motherfucking problem. If they want to go date white women, go date white women. Leave us out of it though. I've never met a black woman who gave a damn what a man who wasn't interested in her and she wasn't interested in did with his time. I personally do not care if I see a black man with a black woman, a white woman, an Indian woman, a Native woman, an Asian woman. Go do you. People are people. I have dated outside of my race plenty. I married a strong black man, but I've dated outside of my race, and I can guarantee you I wasn't walking around talking about cruising for a white man, cruising for an Asian, cruising for a Mexican, cruising for an Italian. I dated who struck a chord with me, who made me feel seen, and who I said, I'm interested in dating you romantically, and he's interested in dating me romantically. So let's go date romantically. I didn't say, stop right there, man. Only Asians can ride this ride. Only whites can ride this ride. I said, you struck a chord, and clearly I've struck a chord with you.
But I ain't mad at him. Hey.
So let's date. That's that. Dating is an experience, and you should explore. Where I get irritated is when black men explore. So many, not all, but so many black men love making it a problem for black women when they don't date a black woman. Because why would we care what you do with your time? Stop worrying about us because we ain't worried about you.
How you doing?
The issue comes in when you feel like in order to big up that person, you have to down us. And we could give a damn about you one way or the other, but who wouldn't respond to being insulted and talk shit about? And if you were on the internet now, even, but especially when Twitter first came about around 2007, 2008, it seemed like the main people who were eager to get an account and tell us that they hated Black women was the ones who had that self-hatred internally. And what I loved about the ones who came after, the Black men who were like, ain't nobody thinking about your ass.
Watch me squash this shit.
You're projecting. These Black women are not worried about you. That is what I appreciated. But long before they arrived, Black women were holding our own and reading them down for filth. And even the women they claim were the prize were reading them down for filth. Because why are you making your preference our problem? If I don't fit the bill, good for you and me. Because I don't want to date somebody who hates himself, and I damn sure don't want to date somebody who don't like me. Who you date is your business. But when you feel like you have to talk shit about Black women in order to make your other woman feel important, that's a you issue. And I hope she sees that shit for what it is. Because if I were dating a man of another race and all he talked about was his race of women and how they were going to be jealous of me, or they was the problem, or I'm only dating you because they always made me feel rejected, I would immediately know this is not about me. And I only want to date a man who's about me. So let me go. Go date the women you're focused on, because it can't be me if you're talking about them. That is my issue with that. And so when Tiffany spouts that bullshit, archaic, age-old rhetoric of Black men want white women, first of all, I'm sitting here with my whole Black ass because both my parents are Black. So clearly some Black men like Black women. They like them enough to make me, you, and her, and us. We all sitting here Black and talking to each other. So clearly some Black men like Black women and some Black women like Black men. That's not a universal rule. But my issue is when you whittle it down to a sex act and you group people in based on a sex act. That's not only demeaning to them, but it's very ignorant because you don't know what people are doing in their bedroom. And if a sex act, if your whole relationship came down to a sex act and your experiences with one or a few or maybe even a lot of people represent how you feel about an entire group of people, you aren't good enough for anybody because you need to go get your head checked. I definitely don't want to date an idiot. If I say, well, I dated 2 white men, and they both had this habit. So every white man in the whole wide world does this thing. So I don't like white men anymore. I would hope someone would say, do you think that makes sense? That made sense to you? You okay? You weird. And Tiffany in this moment was crazy as hell. Then she threw her ring in the other lady's face. And this also got on my nerves. As a married woman, I hate married women who do this to their non-married friends. Marriage to me is not a universal milestone. That is a personal milestone. If you want to get married, then that is a milestone for you. If you feel led to get married, that is a wonderful milestone for you. But that is not a milestone that takes up residence in everybody's timeline. So when you're sitting here like, I'm Becky with the good ring, baby, how do we know you didn't settle? And judging by the fact that you had to seek up solace with Fred from work, maybe you should explore that option as well. Did I settle with Derek? Because I damn sure leaned on another man and we ain't even been married that long. Is the baby even Derek's or is it Fred's? We're going to get to Fred later. But I cannot stand women who do that. I'm a wife. I'm married. As a married woman. Or that condescending thing. Oh my God, I can't imagine dating nowadays. I'm so glad I found my husband. Because if I was dating, I would simply go crazy. I don't know how y'all do it. Okay, girl, you was dating not too long ago. Hell, you're married now, but you might be still dating. We don't know what Tiffany gets up to. And we're going to come back to that later. Because there's also another shady, sketchy thing she did later that we never got a resolution on. But that's beside the point. So anyway, I didn't like that she put Black women and white women against each other for the affection of Black men. Anytime you generalize entire groups of people like that, you are bound to come off like an idiot because that is an idiotic thing to do. All Black men don't date white women over Black women. Black women are not pressed with what Black men are doing who are not interested in them and they're not interested in. Individual people are individual people, and what you seek in a relationship is your preference, and that is up to you to determine and seek out, and that is no one's issue but your own. And white women can do whatever the hell they want to. Asian women can do whatever the hell they want to. Mexican women can do whatever the hell they want to, as long as all women are getting what they want out of their relationships and they feel free and safe to explore however they want to. Their do's and their don'ts should be respected regardless of their skin color. And if one sex act can deter you from wanting to marry someone, then your issues are deeper than that one sex act. Because let me just say this. I don't speak for everybody, but I damn sure speak for a lot of people. You'd be surprised what people will be willing to do or excited to try when they feel safe and loved. So if someone feels like, oh, this person don't feel safe with me, they don't trust me, etc., then maybe you should explore why. I'm not saying everybody's down for everything. I'm saying a lot more people will be down for a lot more things if they felt safe and they felt they could trust the person and the environment in order to explore. You'd be surprised what people will be willing to do in the ways that people open up when they feel safe, loved, and you are trustworthy. That's all I'm saying. You can't sit here and talk about, oh, I want you to do XYZ with me in the bedroom. And not only have you not committed, but I keep finding you in people DMs, you all in the comment section of other women, you over here liking thirst traps, you going on dates with other people, you over here talking about, I was working late. And then you at the club with another woman when I'm with my girls. It's a whole thing. How can you expect someone to open up in any capacity, whether that's emotionally, sexually, whatever, if you are not creating a safe space of love and trust for them to do that? So if you feel like your relationship is not rendering the type of experiences you want, you need to explore that with your partner and take a long, hard look at the environment, the love, and the situation that you are creating or contributing to in order to get to the bottom of that. And race is not even going to top the list. Anyway, Tiffany got on my nerves with that shit. Also, on that same topic, I genuinely dislike that as a married woman, she's telling the other women what to do with their partners. You shouldn't be telling other people what to do with their partners anyway. Let's start there. People's sex life is their business. And if they feel comfortable going forward in one direction or not going forward in another direction, that's their business. And it should be respected and honored. And they shouldn't feel pressured about that. That's a weird thing to get on other people about. Baby, what is it going to do for you, Tiffany, if they give a blowjob to somebody else? How does that impact you? She's very male-centered. Ugh. But as a married woman, not all, but chances are, as a married woman, you would feel a lot more comfortable doing a lot more things with your husband because you are in a marriage than these women would feel comfortable doing with people they are dating, possibly even one-night stands, possibly even people they might not even know next week. These non-committed relationships. Of course, they do less in these non-committed relationships because they don't have the same level of commitment, the same type of time that y'all have put in, the same type of trust built up over time. Of course, they do less. Expecting people who are dating around to do the exact same things that you would in a committed marriage is crazy. And again, that self-centered nature is annoying. Please mind your business. Anyway, I just don't care for that. It doesn't make sense. I'm a married woman. I would never tell my friends, y'all should be doing the same things I'm doing with my husband. I remember a long time ago, me and my husband were just dating. We didn't even live together yet. And one of my colleagues was like, when are y'all going to buy a house? And I said, I'm not buying a house with my boyfriend. I will buy a house with my husband, but I'm not putting my name on any kind of official documents with a boyfriend. So I already have an issue with people projecting these perceived milestones onto other people. Do what you do. I know people who have gotten to year 70 of their life and they're like, you could not pay me to own a home again. I do not want a mortgage. I don't want to have to take care of a property. I don't want to pay them damn taxes. I want to rent. I want the peace of mind. I want to be able to get up and move around and break my lease if I want to. I want to be free. And there are people I know who owned a house at 19. Never make a different decision. That's the one they wanted. You're entitled to do what you want and get what you want out of this life, and projecting life milestones onto other people is crazy to me. So that was another moment that rubbed me the wrong way with Tiffany. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. Did Tiffany cheat on Derek? I don't know if I'm misreading the signs, but there's this subtle back and forth of information throughout the series that kind of implies she cheated on him.
Plus, all couples go through stuff. And it's no big deal. Derek lived in a hotel for half of last, whatever. I found out that it doesn't matter. The point is, even perfect couples have problems. And Derek and I are great now.
Oh shit, what happened?
We're great now. It's hard for men to come back from cheating.
If I had this dude at the job, Fred and I had to talk. Fred's gone now. Why? Because I dealt with it.
We stopped trying, but then we were so high at Easter's party. Ooh. I saw a little weed baby in there.
Yeah, Tiffany's watching at Easter's tonight.
It's Tiff. She can't make it. I'll call her. Boo.
That same night, they're talking about Due North, a show I desperately want to become a real series. But they're talking about Due North. And it's then that Derek says, oh, Tiffany is watching it over at Issa's. So we pan to Issa D. And it's Issa, Molly, and Kelly hanging out, right? Kelly gets a text and says, Tiffany says she's not coming, but to watch it for her, and she's going to text along with us. So she was in a group text with all the ladies, despite telling her husband she was going to be at Issa's, and she didn't show up to Issa's. Where was Tiffany? And I looked at that episode and the follow-up episodes. I never found out where she was. Now, if that was disclosed, please let me know, because I probably missed it. But please let me know, where was Tiffany that night? And it's interesting that we would see that at the same time that Derek is divulging that she had a work husband named Fred. Fred's gone now. Because when I watched it back, I said, well, is Fred gone? Or is he just not at Issa's? Interesting. So anyway, those are the reasons why I feel like Tiffany is sketchy. She's not only one of those people who withholds information, and she also drops bombs on people in public to embarrass them, which I don't like, but she just also has a skewed character and no integrity. The whole thing with the Cuban cigars and exploiting that family to get them across the border, and then of course celebrating the foreclosure of someone's home, and then of course possibly cheating on her husband, and then also criticizing the ladies for what they do and don't do sexually, and then using her ring as validation that she does it right, when in actuality, baby, you could be married all day long and that man could still be with somebody else. You will never be the prettiest, you will never have the most, you will never do the most in order to keep a person who don't want to be there. And sometimes people just simply don't want to be there, or they want to be somewhere else, and there is nothing you can do to stop them. You should operate within your own boundaries and limits, and the right person for you will respect that. And whether that culminates in a ring or not doesn't change a damn thing, because there's a whole lot of married people out here cheating. There's a whole lot of married people out here beating. There's a whole lot of married people out here ain't doing nothing in the bedroom and happy as hell. And then there's a whole lot of people out here doing everything in the bedroom and can't stand each other. You cannot determine the validity of anyone else's relationship based on your own preferences and experiences. That's ignorant, and Tiffany is ignorant. And that's why I don't like that character. But she can dress, but I don't like that character. So what I will say is, I wish we had gotten a lot more out of Tiffany outside of her relationship with Derek. I just don't feel like we knew enough about Tiffany. We knew she worked in PR at the same company as Condola. We know that she had a baby, Simone, and we know that she was very unhappy when she had to live outside of LA. And she also dealt with postpartum, and she overcame that and worked through it, I should say. But other than those things, we don't know Tiffany. I would have loved to see more scenes of Tiffany going home to kind of get a glimpse of like her home life. I would have loved to know more about her experiences before Derek and see her as a character pull from some of those experiences. I also would have loved if there was this running storyline of her maybe having like a one that got away or something that might explain the wall she had up. Who knows? I would have just loved to have had more fun and fire from this character, because Amanda Seales would have absolutely been able to deliver. She's fun. She's fun to watch. Her comedic timing is top tier. So I would have loved to see that from her. I just don't think I got enough Tiffany to round out the things that I disliked about her. It wasn't enough positives and enough wit in the world to overcome that character flaw that she seemed to be written with. But that's my thoughts. So that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. The extended versions of these videos are also on Patreon, also at Chats and Chill, and linked in the description box below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.